Welcome to our ICT4D conference channel, where we discuss how digital technology and data innovations are leveraged to improve the quality and impact of humanitarian and development programs. My name is Sonja Rützel, and I'm from Catholic Relief Services. Today, it's my pleasure to welcome Ivonne Carrillo. She's the Principal Data Engineer at Bixal, and will chat with me today about artificial intelligence in our sector. So welcome, Ivonne, to our channel.
Thank you so much for having me here.
Thank you for joining us. Would you like to tell us a little bit more about yourself, your role at Bixal, and also about Bixal, because maybe not everybody is familiar with your organization?
Sure. Yeah, no, thank you. So my name is Ivonne Carrillo Domínguez. I am Principal Data Engineer here at Bixal. And Bixal is a mission-driven consulting company that work alongside governments and organizations to help them deliver solutions and services to help them serve the communities they work on. And my role, or what I do here at Bixal, is to oversee the technologies and methodologies that we use internally at the company and inform better the organizations that we serve. From business intelligence to machine learning and anything in between that is data related. And one of my responsibilities is to help these organizations to grow in their data maturity so they can have better decision making and also to adopt edging technologies such as AI or machine learning.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Yvonne. And for our audience, we have more information in the description to link to Bixal if you want to learn more. Bixal also kindly sponsored and led our big discussion on artificial intelligence at the recent ICT4D conference in Ghana. For anyone who could not attend the session or like to hear again about what we discussed, Yvonne kindly agreed to share some of the key takeaways with us in today's conversation. So, Yvonne, to get us started talking about artificial intelligence, there's a massive hype on AI in our sector. So very generally, what are your thoughts on this?
Honestly, I love it. This is a topic that I really like. And I was very happy to see that when I was there at the ICT4D conference, there were a lot of organizations that were leveraging machine learning and AI solutions in applications on agriculture, education, health, financial services, language translations, and way more. I think it surprised me, but in a good way. There are a lot that we need to consider when using AI, but I'm really happy to get this going. And it's not a new tool. It has been there for a while, but now that we have generative AI, that everyone has seen the potential, organizations are trying to leverage that and use it. I love this hype, and I want everyone to jump in as well. AI is a tool. We need to see it as like that. Just a tool. We can't use it to help organizations or projects to increase productivity, be more efficient and effective. But it's not about compromising people's safety or people's privacy. It's not about creating social gaps because some people can access those tools and some not. It's not about excluding people. So we need to have in mind that we need to always put people first whenever we are evaluating these solutions. So when you have a problem that you need to solve, first you need to understand the problem to even decide if AI fits into the solution. We cannot force AI into every solution. There's this hype and everyone wants to put their hands on AI, but AI is not going to solve every problem. But whenever you see I can use AI to solve part of the problem or the problem itself, even then you need to evaluate if it is an ethical solution or if the project or the company it is ready to use AI.
Thank you. We're obviously hearing a lot about opportunities of AI and use cases. And as you said, there is also a lot of concerns around the ethical use of AI, because that's really, really important. And that's actually something we've been discussing with the conference probably since 2017 on the big stage. But I know it's very prominent now. So could you please share with us what are some of the key ethical considerations that came across in that discussion?
Yeah, for sure. So we were covering a lot of the concerns, because there's a lot to cover there. I think the discussion going to be just focused on this. Obviously, we wanted to cover as much as possible, but some of the things that we were discussing is security. So we need to make sure we are prepared to produce secure and private solutions. We want to make sure that we are delivering the data or the solutions to the right users at the right time. And this means to keep this data secure, where we are giving the users the insights they need to understand the data, to make decisions, to generate reports, or whatever the solution is. But we only need to deliver the data that they need so we can keep the privacy of the rest of the data. So the organization needs to be prepared to have that infrastructure. And also, it's not only about keeping this data secure, it's about having the right data. This means that the data needs to be complete. It needs to be contextualized to the community that you are serving, so you don't give misleading outputs or misleading information. You want to make sure that you are giving accurate information, so the decisions that are made from that are more accurate, are more certain. And also you want to include everyone. So you need to understand the problem you are working with to be able to understand the data and to decide if the data that you have is really including everyone into the conversation, into the output of the solutions. We have security, we have privacy, inclusion, equity, and we also have data bias, data noise. That can affect the outputs as well. So you need to evaluate the data before delivering a solution. You don't want to make people think that things are happening when they are not happening. And that's because or your data is not complete or it's not accurate. That creates bias, and you need to identify all the bias that your data have so you can address them. There are different ways in which you can address those bias, but you need to make sure you're aware of that. And if there's an issue on your data and you are giving the solution anyway, this is because of business needs. It can happen. AI solutions won't be like 100% accurate or certain. Like that can happen because there's always like this percentage of accuracy. But you need to inform that to the users. When you use ChatGPT, it's not that all the answers you get from there are the truth, but they are informing you. Like be careful of what you're getting, because it can be misleading information. So that's an ethical way to do it. So if you're generating reports, for example, that's the solution, to generate the reports to give insights into a program, how efficient is the program, and you're generating that, you can say, okay, this report is 90% complete, but someone else, like a human, needs to go and review that. So first you need to address what you can in your data, and you need to know, it's not about being perfect always, but it's about knowing exactly the data that you have, knowing the accuracy of your AI solutions, and inform that to the users. And there's a lot more, but that's some of them.
Thank you so much for the overview. It's definitely a lot of important points like the security, the privacy, inclusion, bias, accuracy, and I love your focus on being transparent. But one thing I do know also came up at the conference, but possibly not in that particular discussion, is also the ethical consideration around the climate impact of artificial intelligence. So that's something that is a wider sense on how we're looking at ethical considerations. But particularly you were looking at the ethical use, and I think that's a great point to start. When you were talking a lot about understanding the data, one thing I heard a lot in the AI discussion at the conference is to really get the fundamentals right first around the data and the data management. And I know you've done a lot of work and a lot of insight around the fundamentals. So what in particular are you advising our audience to look at and to get right before they consider using artificial intelligence?
For sure. So when you are training your AI models or machine learning models, you're going to use data. So you want to make sure or understand the state of the data that you are getting. So that's where we're getting into the data maturity topic. And data maturity is not about having, as I said before, it's not about being perfect. So data maturity is not about having the perfect data, but it's about knowing the state of your data in several topics: data accessibility, data security, data privacy, data quality, and different data management practices. So let's take data quality, for instance. Obviously, you want high quality data before going into training your AI models. Just saying high quality doesn't really tell you exactly what you want. You need to have measures. So that's where data maturity comes handy, because you're going to give indicators, like metadata about your data. So you need to define indicators. What is high quality for my purpose? And maybe I need to have data that is complete. I need to make sure it is including all these groups. I need to make sure it's not missing data. And then we can get more technical in there. But then you have your indicators, and then you audit your data. So you are going to be tracking the state of your quality at every moment. And that's what data maturity is about. It's about being able to monitor and evaluate the data always. Maybe it is not 100% in everything, but you can make decisions if you know the state of your data. When I start helping an organization to grow in the data maturity, the first thing that we do is to understand the business needs of the organization or of the project, and we can take it from there. For some projects, quality is going to be a priority, but for other projects, security is going to be the priority. And then we measure where they are at in those priorities, in those goals, and then we build a roadmap. So you are here and you want to be here. Maybe the quality, once that we measure, or the security, now that we are measuring it, we can have indicators so we know where we are at, the level of those data management practices, and we know where we want to be. And knowing that is a huge step in is, I will say, it's one of the hardest things to do. But once you have that, you know where you are going, and you can have next steps in there. You know what you need to fix because you are seeing the problem. So it is okay if you are not in the level that you want to be, as long as you have that knowledge. So that's the first step. Then we start innovating or improving the data management practices so they can get in there. And that's what you do when you want to increase your data maturity. And when you have this understanding or this foundation of your data maturity or in your data, it's going to be easier to adopt new technologies like AI, because you know what you have. You know if the data is ready for AI, if it is going to solve the problem. You can make that decision faster because you know exactly what you have there. Also, organizations that have a higher data maturity also means that their data management practices are standardized. So everyone in the organization knows about that, knows how to store data or where it is stored, and those kind of aspects of the data management practices. So people are going to adopt these new technologies in a faster way because they feel comfortable. When people don't have this foundation and you want to have AI on the top of that, it's going to be harder. But if people understand and feel more comfortable, then they are even going to be in the lookout of those opportunities and identify them and jump into these new edging technologies even faster. So that's one of the things that having a data foundation will help you with.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. Anyone wants to learn more about what Ivonne just told us, I'm also linking to an article in the description where, Ivonne, you explain in much more detail about the importance of data maturity for a successful implementation of artificial intelligence. Very fantastic article. I enjoyed reading it. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I think that was all the questions we had. So, Ivonne, is there anything else you would like to add? Any main takeaways or any call to action for our audience?
Yeah, I would like to take this opportunity to invite everyone to learn more about data, about AI. It's very interesting, and there are resources that you can leverage, such as Hugging Face. That is a free resource. That's like a webpage. You can learn in a higher level what is going on with machine learning models, with generative AI, or if you want to do a deep dive, there you can also start training your own AI models. This Hugging Face has free data sets that you can use to train your models. You can leverage models that other people have shared to the community. And that's also what it has. It has a big community that you can rely on and ask questions and get help from there. So if you want to learn more about this, that's a good resource. And just in general, I think organizations should invest more on data foundations and AI learning, because AI is here. Whether we like it or not, it's not going everywhere, and we need to live with the risks and concerns at the same time where we are trying to mitigate the risk. And one of the ways to mitigate that is just learning more.
Thank you, Yvonne. Actually, today I had a conversation with a colleague, and they said they think AI will no longer be in the discussions as AI because it's going to be so fundamentally ingrained in our work. We will focus on something more specific just as much as we used to all talk about big data. Now, I think everything is about big data. We don't really mention that. We already talk more specifically about aspects of data management or the data cycle. So, very exciting. So thank you so much for sharing your insights with us today.
No, thank you so much. I enjoyed this a lot.
Thank you, Yvonne.